You remember the good old days when one single TV show could dominate conversations in all of your friend groups? When Breaking Bad was taking over the world and Game of Thrones was practically a religion. Yeah, I miss those days. But those days are sadly gone. Nowadays, even massive hits like Squid Game vanish from our memories in about a week. But not every show shares the same fate. Now the question is, what sets these shows apart from other shows that are equally good but are still forgotten? So today let's break down what is going wrong, what these shows are doing right, how we can go back to the good old days, and how we can make television great again. When the binging model of OTT started, I used to absolutely love it. I mean, why would I not want to watch something that I've been craving for so long all at once? It's the best fix to my itch. But do me a favor, close your eyes and think about the last show that you binged that actually made an impact on you. Apart from The Bear, I really can't think of anything. And I think that is the problem. Let me give you an example. I watched Succession as it was releasing weekly. I waited in between seasons for years, counting down the days to release. And by the time the show was done, it became one of my most favorite shows ever. I am absolutely in love with Succession. On the other hand, my girlfriend watched all 4 seasons together and she binged right through them. She did love the show, but the impact it had on her was very different. In a month's time, the show was already fading from her memory. So why is that? See, the thing is, the speed with which you consume a story is the same speed with which it leaves your brain. So a show that is releasing an episode a week has the opportunity to stick around with the audience for a little longer. It has the opportunity to make a bigger impact. In that 1 week's time, the audience is making up theories, talking to their friends about it, thinking about the characters, watching interviews with actors, even going back and rewatching episodes to see if they missed something. And with every passing week, it feels like the show is not just a show, but a part of your routine, a part of your life. In essence, the audience is living in that world for a little longer. But now that shows are dropped as an afterthought, even before a community is built, there is always something new to watch. I think shows like Baby Reindeer and Fallout suffered greatly because of it. These were great shows that came out all in one day and just vanished from people's collective minds. And even though most big releases are going back to the weekly model, the damage is already done. Now that people are accustomed to binging, the OTTs have to find a way to make sure that their story sticks with the audience for as long as it can. And the way they have decided to do it is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows started a stupid-ass trend that is still being followed to this day. See, the OTTs have decided that to maximize the reach they can get with one section of the story, all you have to do is split the season into 2 or 3 parts. Netflix is the main culprit here. Stranger Things, Cobra Kai, and very recently, Squid Game is the latest addition to this trend. Sure, the amount of traction you get by splitting up your seasons is a lot. Once people are hooked, they will keep coming back, racking up your numbers. But there is a possibility of losing something in this formula that is detrimental to the long-term success of your show. And that is a conclusion to any of your arcs. Let's take Squid Game Season 2 as an example. Season 2 of Squid Game came after a wait of almost 2 years. The audience was very excited to get back into the world. But a week after the season dropped, it just completely vanished from people's minds. And why do you think that is? It's because Netflix decided to split one season into 2. One releasing this year and the other in July of 2025. And in this season, nothing really happens. I mean, think about it. The main character is not able to stop the games, the cop is not able to find the island, and the front man comes in, plays a couple of games, kills a couple of people, and goes back to where he was. New story arcs are picked up, and the show takes so long to set up its world again that by the time it ends, there is no real conclusion to any of those arcs. So you have to wait for season 3, which is really season 2.5. Now I waited years to watch this story conclude. And after a lackluster season that I wasn't really impressed by, will I even stick around for season 3? I mean, personally I will, because the last year hasn't really been kind to me. Money is an issue again. Mental health is down in the dumps. I had a surgery last year and physically I still haven't been feeling like myself. TV shows and movies are the only things that are really keeping me going. So yeah, I will. But most people will not. And even if they stick around, when they come back, they'll watch a recap, watch the new season, and just be done with it. This was one of the biggest hits that Netflix ever had. And no amount of traction that you get by splitting up seasons can counteract an impact that such a show can have on people. But talking about impact, let's talk about the biggest culprit that reduces said impact of a show. When thinking about the glory days of TV, one thing jumped out at me. In the past, every different genre of show had a specific runtime that they focused on hitting. Sitcoms were around 20 minutes, game shows were an hour long, and dramas used to hit 45 to 50 minutes consistently. Along with this, a regular season of any show had about 20 episodes. But with the advent of TikTok, of Reels, of Mr. Beast, it feels like the TV overlords have decided that these things don't really matter anymore. I think that they think that the audience will not stick around for that long. And it's not just that. With increasing production quality, episode numbers and episode lengths have to take a dip. But to what extent? For this, let's take the example of one of my most favorite shows of the past few years, The Last of Us. Now, the first 8 episodes of the series hit the plus 50-minute mark. Every episode was critically acclaimed and the audience absolutely loved it. But the finale was a little different. The finale was a measly 43 minutes. After the audience has spent 9 weeks to find a conclusion to Ellie and Joel's beautiful story, I just don't think 43 minutes cuts it. Having played the game, I can tell you there were classic, legendary, iconic moments that the finale just rushes past. The rest of the show is still beautiful, but the conclusion just didn't land for me. And this is a problem with a lot of other shows. Essentially, every Marvel project has had the same problem since their inception. WandaVision was a great series that had a very rushed finale. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the same. And Loki Season 2 only had 6 episodes. Game of Thrones Season 7 and 8 were criticized so much because they reduced their episode numbers. So how is that just the norm now? A 6-episode drama series is just not enough, no matter how good it is. In fact, the problem is so big that Netflix has a second screen protocol now. This protocol dictates that the creators have to make their shows in such a way that the audience can watch it while scrolling their goddamn phones.
What? What the fuck?
Yes, the audience is spoiled for choice. There is so much content to watch that so many good shows just go unnoticed. But the problem is not the attention span. It's the ability of the creators to hold our attention span. When you make good shit, people end up watching. To this day, I go on Reddit, I go on YouTube to search for theories for Game of Thrones. Because, well, I spent a decade in that world. It is a part of my life. Learn from Severance, from Shogun, from Succession. Let the audience breathe in that world. Let the audience live in that world. Because when they live in that world, it becomes a part of their life. Because if you don't do that, you become just another show. We don't want something that we can watch while scrolling our phones. We want to watch something that makes us put our phones down. Please, look at all of this and make television great again. And that was the dump of the week/month, depending on when I post the next video. After watching the first 3 episodes of Severance, I just realized that this is such a better way to watch TV shows and to make TV shows. I'm on Reddit, I'm on YouTube, I'm talking to my friends, I'm making up theories. It takes over my entire life and I love it. I just think this is better. But that is just my opinion. My friends disagree with me, I disagree with them. But what do you think? Do you prefer binging shows? Do you prefer watching weekly? Let me know. Comments down below. But with that, I am Siddharth Vasu. Thank you for watching Thought Dump, and I'll see you next time.